Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this week's episode of the Small Business Surgeon Podcast. Guys, I'm joined by a guy this week that I've been trying to get on the show for a little bit. He's the co-founder of Hemlock Homes out of Pittsburgh, PA. Bryan Bercik, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me. It's an honor.
Well, dude, it's been a while coming. I've run into you at several events, and I love what you've done with your home company, building, remodeling, but from the ground up. You haven't always done that, have you? You started out in landscaping, and you've got a journey from being a landscaper to owning a home company. So, man, let's jump right in, dude. Tell us a little bit about Bryan.
Yeah. So, like you said, I started in landscaping, middle school, like 7th grade. I think it's the summers with my dad. And stuff.
7th. So I've only got 2 more years before I can put my child to work, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Sure. But I credit a lot of that to my dad, instilled a lot of the work ethic in me to kind of be where I'm at today. So I really credit him for that for sure. But I started off as a laborer and, I dug ditches and, just kind of sat back and watched how he maneuvers the business and, learned how to talk to clients and, be his best self. And I watched him grow 30% every year for 34 years, my natural existence of life. So, it's been a real blessing for that. I got real, I knew I was ceilinged in the landscaping business because my dad's only 56 years old. So, he's not retirement age. I knew I couldn't make any more than I was already making. And I ended up moving up the ranks to running half of the company. He handled the landscaping side. I handled the grass cutting side and everything in it. So, it just became a time in 2013. I think I bought my first property to flip. And I didn't know anything about it. Nothing at all.
You go from landscaping to flipping. What was it attracted you to flipping?
I've always loved construction. So, for me, it's the same thing of it's high winds, high losses. I like that. I like the energy of it. You can win big or you can lose big. So I like that kind of stuff. And I always was fascinated with, the pride of taking something that's, basically junk and turning it into something that's absolutely beautiful. So I really always like that. And that's what's always drawn me to construction. That's always why I like landscaping as well. I'm like, I can turn this ugly house into something really beautiful and like have some pride in it. But I knew the ceiling, there's no ceiling in real estate. So if I want to make $1 trillion, it's possible. Like I just got to make, roadmap the steps to get there. In landscaping, you're absolutely ceilinged at some point.
Yeah, that's no doubt. The more jobs you get, the harder it gets. Whereas in real estate, you can just kind of move up price brackets. So what was it initially attracted you to the flipping business? Was it just the money side of things, or were you looking for a little independence from lawn mowing?
Oh, I definitely needed independence. So I was still working with my dad, but I was doing this to kind of like see if I show like, can I really do this? Like, can I manage contractors? Can I manage construction like this? And I did. And I was actually really good at formulating teams and subs. And I was able to, I was always really good at sales. So I've been real sales oriented my entire life. And so I was able to do the acquisition side of it as well on a very small level. And, I basically just bought a house and bought another house and bought another house and bought another house. And it seems easy, but then as they showed on TV, I got my ass kicked every which way possible. I made like $37 total on my first flip. But it taught me a lot, which was, we all know that's like tuition to the game.
It is, man. Yeah.
And then, the second house, I ended up making $100,000 and I was like, oh my God, never seen any money like this before.
Totally hooked on that, huh?
Yeah. And then I got cocky and went down to the city of Pittsburgh and lost like $62,000.
Will they have a casino down there or what?
Oh, well, yeah, they definitely do. But
I didn't know that. That was sarcasm. I had no
yeah,
idea.
No, I made every bad mistake that you could possibly make flipping a house in an area that I was very unfamiliar of. So that taught me a lot about my ego. It taught me a lot about, the different sectors of Pittsburgh. It taught me a lot about, how to, you stay in your lane, find your niche and really roll with it. Because again, I just, made my first big money and was like, oh, I'll just go do this everywhere. This is real easy. I figured it out. No.
So a painful lesson then, when you went down to the city and lost a little money. Tell us, let's go a little bit more into that cocky youth kind of thing, because I think that, I've made a lot of money flipping real estate and I've lost money flipping real estate, and the losses, they always hurt more, but you always take something away from them. Last single family home I lost money on was in 2005, and I lost $14,000. And in 2005, that was about all I had to lose. It was a massive lesson. So I've never lost money on single family ever again. So what was your first loss like, and how did you figure that out?
Well, I realized that, I'm from the South. I'm from the South of Pittsburgh. So I'm 20 minutes from the city, but it's a whole different world. 20 minutes from the city is like, you're getting pretty close into like farm country again.
No doubt. Yeah.
And I went, the subs are not the same. They're not the same human beings. They don't handle things. My subs would not go down there. So I had to find a whole new pool of subs, which turned out horrific. And, I found out I didn't know how to manage contractors as well. I thought I knew how to manage contractors. And that really spiraled out of control.
I'm laughing because I feel your pain. I've done the exact same shit, dude. Like if only there was a course that taught people how to do it properly.
A real course, a genuine one of, I've joined some other courses that touch base on it, but like, there's no course to like, be, oh, hey, this is how you deal with this contractor. This is how you deal with this. And it's all very broad, but it also taught me a very golden lesson that the contractors hold the cards. I understood the power of being a contractor at that moment. This was like 2014, late 2014. Okay. And that like clicked the light bulb right there. Like, I know the power of being a contractor now. Like, you hold all the cards. If you want to flip 100 houses a year, your contractor has to take you there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
So I really, that taught me a really, really life-changing lesson that I still bring up to this day all the time.
I mean, really, as a house flipper, you're only as good as your crew. Correct. Because, there's a few of us that were raised in it that can do the painting and do the carpentry and the drywall and, but that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is in and out. Get everything coordinated, get it moving. You think you're going to come in and flip this house and save a bunch of money by doing the work yourself, and that's never the case. And it took me my first 2 or 3 houses to realize that contractors were really the key, and having a good group of contractors was just purely essential to the process. This last flip I've got on the market right now, it's when we went into a new market, new town, 45 minutes away, no reliable contractors, and it took 3 times as long as it should because we were burning through contractors trying to get the right guys with the right quality of work, Yep. So
it's, and you're looking to get that price point of work that's not on a consumer level. So you're in that balance of, okay, I need to pay X, but I need quality Y. Trying to align those two things is not always the easiest.
No, I didn't realize we had all this in common. So you flipped houses for yourself, and then in 2016 you became an acquisitions manager with a company that flipped houses. Tell us a little more about that, because I really want to look into the business side of house flips and how you were able to scale that into one of the largest flipping companies in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I had a buddy of mine who I knew through flipping houses. I was maybe only doing, 5 houses a year. Mostly doing, like you said, doing it all myself and trying to figure it out, and then slowly starting to sub out. Well, I knew him and he was scaling pretty rapidly. And like, I mean, I'm talking like at this point, maybe 15 houses a year, 20 houses a year, maybe. And that's a lot of volume.
That's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but at this point, so I seen a job posting that they put out on Facebook for an acquisitions manager. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm already doing that. Maybe this is my way to get fully out of landscaping. I'm like, okay, because I'm still doing flips on the side. I'm doing landscaping. So I'm working double jobs. This job could pay me, a substantial, 6-figure income. I could quit landscaping and then learn how to run a big time flipping company while I'm there. So I ended up applying for the job, and same as like Thomas Keenan and all them guys say, whenever I had to go through the hiring process, I had to do a 5-minute video of myself telling them why I should be, get this job. I had to send in a giant resume. I had to do like 5 steps to even get into the second interview.
Plenty of hoops there, huh?
Oh yeah. I think there was 130 applicants and only 5 of us followed all the rules, just like they said. So yeah, I was one of the 5, and I came down to, the final, I think they narrowed it down to 3, and they ended up deciding to go with me. So I had a conversation with my dad, like, hey man, I've been here 13 years, but I got to put in my 2 weeks, I'm going to go over there and do this. And he's like, oh, okay. Sure. So, and 2 weeks came, and I left, and I went into a new position, and basically I've never done acquisitions for, on a level like they wanted. So I was in charge of initial call. I was in charge of lead intake, descriptions put into their CRM, setting the appointment, going on the appointment, getting the contract signed, follow up. Then whenever the contract was signed, I did transactional coordination, and then I got it all the way to close, and then I would get my commission. So
what was the biggest, I was going to ask what the biggest change was between doing it for yourself and doing it for a company, but it seems apparent.
Well, they said, they told me I had to do, within, I think it was 60 days, I had to sign, I think it was 15 contracts.
Oh, wow. That's moving, huh?
Yeah.
And were they providing the leads and everything? You just followed up on it?
Yeah. So it was mostly all inbound. So I also helped them with their marketing department. I set up, big campaigns with them, and the owner was also in that division. So I worked closely with him in regards to, what our marketing was. We were doing everything: TV, newspaper, radio, direct mail, ringless voicemails, the whole 9 yards. We were spending about 20 to 25,000 a month in marketing. And we were buying, somewhere between, at the end, they wanted to do 100 houses a year flipping,
right?
By the time I was leaving, and their models changed since then. But I took them all the way, they ended up winning an award for one of the top business growing businesses in Pittsburgh when I left, and I was able to assist in that. Definitely not all my doing, but the team really stepped up, and they were able to grow from like a $3 million company to 10 in about a year.
So this is like moved beyond just, Bryan flipping a house by himself.
Yeah, I was an employee, but it also taught me how to be a part of running a $10 million company.
Oh, no doubt. Man, I'm trying to get back to advice you can give to somebody starting out flipping a house right now. We've already covered contractors. Is there something in that role that you took over at the company at Pittsburgh? Is there something at that role up there that you could share with the listeners that would make them flipping their first house easier, be it on the contract side, on the negotiation side? What was it from that role that you took away?
It's all sales. So, when you're in sales, you're the driving force of the business. The numbers come off of you. So, I went out, I did a home assessment. I dived into how much the repairs were going to be needed on the house, got very detail oriented in what needed to be done, how much it was going to cost. I had to turn in reports weekly of, keeping track of my database on how much our cost per lead was, and maybe understand KPIs. I would say, if you're starting out, just take action. But it's really sales oriented in the beginning, because you're gonna, when you're first starting out and you're spending some money on leads, you're gonna have to be the one that closes it. You're not gonna go to a sales guy.
No, you can't do that. And again,
So
another mistake we've probably all made is paying for leads and asking somebody else to close them. Call the damn leads, man.
that's it. That's it. So, I mean, it really, but it also helped me, when I was at this company, it helped me understand construction on a high level. So it made me become very good at construction because my job hindered upon me being accurate on my repairs needed on these houses. So let's say if I said this house needs 55,000 in work and they end up putting 90 into it, they're going to have a conversation with me. So it's
you're in trouble.
Oh yeah, it's either the contractor's fault or they added things to what the original scope was, or I'm fired. So it's one of the things where when your job hinders on it, you either become really good at it or you're going to get left in the dust.
Yeah, no doubt. So did you ever miss one bad, or did you get better and better progressively?
I missed one, and it's crazy because I bought 114 houses for them, and I one loss, and it was definitely my fault. And I heard it was a substantial loss. I mean, it was above 30 grand. So I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it was there was a conversation had there with me.
But that was your education right there.
Yeah, and I mean, they knew that my value was there. Like I've made enough money for the company to like, okay, like this is a mistake, but this is going to be the last mistake.
I bet. Yeah, I can't. You don't want to come out to your boss and just tell him you're responsible for over 30 grand coming out of the equation, do you?
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, you got experienced in the construction side of things, and then you decided that you realized that home building was a market to be taken advantage of, and that's led us to where you are now. Tell us a little bit about your start in the home building world, because it wasn't quite as wasn't quite as easy as you thought, right?
No, I was just talking about it on Friday at our team meeting. I'm like, I remember back in the day when I was like, we just build 10 houses a year. We're going to be millionaires. Not the case. Not the case. But
I love it. I love it.
It was, so I started looking at, okay, what area of real estate is vulnerable? And I'm like, all right, so all the builders out in our area are, in their late 60s and their early 70s, they're in the latter part of their careers, and they're all very, very, very successful at this point. And they all had their stories and things of that nature. And I'm like, well, there's no builder that's like the next builder. Like, who's going to be the next builders then? I don't know anybody.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, why don't we like look at this market? So I reached out to a buddy of mine who's an excavator, and I'm like, hey man, I'm thinking about this idea. Like, why don't we just, start building houses? He's like, well, it's funny you say that. My cousin is a project manager and he quit his job. He's going out on his own. I'm like, really? I'm like, well, let's have a conversation with him. So then we meet at this restaurant in South Park where we live, and we all sit in the corner booth. And for 3.5 months, we wrote on napkins about what we're going to do and what house plans are we going to use and what lots can we find, and went out, looked at a ton of lots, and, formulated the LLC and did all this stuff, and ended up deciding on buying 2 lots. And, we started out with 2 specs, and it was, he kept telling me the whole time, he's like, bro, you've never seen nothing like new construction. I'm like, why? He's like, because it's organized. You can systemize it. You can scale it. I'm like, it's construction. It's crazy. There's nothing organized about it. And, when I started seeing this go, and like they got into framing, and like these houses are framed in like 8 days, I'm like, holy, I've never seen construction like this. This is insane.
Yeah. Some of the big boys, man, they know what they're doing. They
well, that
really
was
do.
the thing. So my partner is 10 years my age. He's older than me. So he drops a lot of wisdom on me, but he came from some of the biggest builders in Pittsburgh. So, we were able to get a head start on that because he worked for companies that did 1,400 houses a year. So, he brought a ton of value to the table, a lot of the subs and things of that nature. So, whenever things got rolling, I was like, oh my God, we're on to something here.
So what happened with your first 4 houses then? When you took out, it says in your bio, you took out some loans, you finished some houses, only to realize there was no brand. So
yeah, so I had no money. I mean, I had money, but like I didn't have enough to build 4 houses. And at first we only bought 2 lots. So I went to one of my private money guys from the flipping world, And as we all know, private money can get expensive, and
Yes, sir, it can.
nobody wanted to lend to me on dirt. Like everybody wants like their money back by a piece of real estate, which is like rightfully so. So, nobody would give me money. Nobody would, even with my good track record. So I ended up finding one of my longtime mentors, and he gave us 560 or 580 to start. And that was, lot purchase and construction. Again, we were paying 15% annualized money. Oof. So
oof.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those of you that can't work that out in your head, it's 15% of what, 580 grand
a month.
So what, per year though?
Yeah, so it's like 1.5% per month.
That's still stout. That's about $7.5 grand a month in carrying costs.
Yep.
Wow. You've got to have some margin to make that work.
Yeah, and then we double it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So maybe we just need to be private lenders, mate. Maybe we just need to lend other people money.
I know. So yeah, we got halfway about through building our houses in South Park. They were going along great. We're right on budget. I'm like, oh, this is great. This couldn't be better. So we come across an opportunity north of us in Pittsburgh, right by our airport, which is a booming market right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there was about 10 lots available. So we purchased 2 more. So now my carrying costs are 1.15 million at 15% annualized every month.
Wow. 1.15 million times 0.15. Damn. So you're paying $14,375 per month in interest, and that's just interest. It's not paying the note down.
Yep.
Well, the way you're sitting in that chair makes you look comfortable, but I bet you got some really big balls down there, mate. That's a lot to take on.
It was, so, and we ended up doing it. We got all the way to the end, we built them, and then we had a hard time selling them. And I couldn't understand why. I'm like, why are these not selling? They're beautiful. And everybody that came through them was like, these houses are gorgeous. But the first question they always asked was, who's the builder?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, it's, this
just
company.
some guys.
That's it. And they're like, well, it's this company. And they're like, well, we've never heard of them. And they're like, well, that makes us nervous, because what about the warranties? How long are they going to be in business? Are they going to be able to service us if something's wrong? And I never thought of that. And that was
a fair point. Yeah.
That was a huge, huge moment for me when I was like, okay, branding is very, very, very important. We ended up, I'll be very truthful, on one of the houses that we built, we made $6,700 profit.
So you were a month away from making a loss.
Yeah. And that's, we sold all of them, and I got all my money. I got more money back from interest that I paid out than I did in profit. So
yeah. I've been there though. I've been there. You just got to pay the interest every month. And then when you sold a house, you take it off the balance and it comes back. That's part of the deal when you use hard money. It gave us a couple really good opportunities. So like when we bought them 2 lots in Moon, I was able to strike a deal with the guy who bought the rest of the lots. I'm like, hey man, I'm already building up here. Why don't you sell me? So he purchased the lots for $25,000. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll give you $65,000 every lot that I sell and I build. You'll make $40,000 off the top on every single lot. Don't have to do nothing. Just let me build. So we did, and he agreed to it, and we ended up selling out the community. We're finishing out the community now as we speak. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it gave us a really good opportunity to do our little first mini development, and then also gave us the opportunity to keep branding. And then we rebranded the company into Hemlock Homes, and that's when I started to understand the power of the brand. So I'm like, okay, people are going to know who we are. Like, I'm going to force that down everyone's throat now.
So where did the name come from? Tell me about the birth of Hemlock Holmes.
Yep. So the hemlock is the Western state tree in Pennsylvania, and it's got a cool logo. It's got like a cool design, and that's kind of our logo, is like the hemlock tree. It represents, the western side of our state, because, in Pittsburgh, we have like this big thing between Philly and Pittsburgh. So like it's West Coast versus East Coast. So it's, we want to always like represent our west side of the state.
Oh, there you go. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm geographically challenged, especially when it comes to Northeast America. Sorry, mate. I got Texas down. I've got most of Europe. I can point it out on a map. But when you say Philadelphia, I don't think I can even find it on a map, to be honest. I'm gonna have to go look it up now because I want to know why Pittsburgh.
It's literally dead. It's literally dead all the way across the other side of the state.
I want to know why you guys fight. So, all right. Tell us a little bit, real quick, about what Hemlock Holmes does now and the future. What you got planned over there?
Yeah, so in the last, I don't know, I think we started doing that. We formed them companies in 19. We rebranded Hemlock Homes in 19. We're getting into the latter part of 2021. Now we have 15 employees. I have 2 project supervisors, office manager, office admin, 7 in-house field guys, a sales dude for new construction. But yeah, I mean, we've gone from, now we're only pre-sold builds. So we only work for customers on pre-sold lots. So we're basically a GC. You come to us with your piece of land and we'll build you the house you want on it. But for us, we're a little different because we're like one of the only turnkey builders in PA. So we do everything. We service your permits all the way to landscaping. There's nothing you have to do. We do every single thing for you. And we mostly do custom homes now.
Are you at least kicking the landscaping back to your dad?
All of it. All of it.
I've been dying to ask you that.
Yeah, all of it. He gets all of it.
Good.
Only because like I want him to see like how far this thing's gonna go.
Well, good. I would definitely, I would. I'm proud of you for that, man. You got to give it back to the old man. You left him all those years ago. What's that?
That's who started me.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about you for a little bit, Bryan. You know, the whole point of the Small Business Surgeon podcast, and, you know, we've heard a little bit of your story, how you came up through landscaping and how you flipped some houses, and some of them you made some money on, and sometimes you lost your shirt. But the whole point of the podcast is for guys like you to talk and tell your story, so guys that, like you were 10 years ago, can listen to it and be inspired. So tell us about one of the failures that you had on the way from 2014 to 2016 when you were flipping houses. Tell us about the time it went wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, the game changes. Like real estate changes so much. It's so fast. I mean, like, so you know, big thing for like on my team, I always say to everybody who's on it is like, this is going to force you to be your best self, because this game moves at such a pace and demands so much of your time. It's either going to maul you over or you're going to level up. And you know, that's for me, I want to instill in my team that I'm there to help you when leveling up, because, you know, it's finding the right mentors early on for me was a big thing, because I've never asked for help. I'm just going to figure this out. And that's how I was for a long time. And I tried to figure it out from 14 to 18. A lot of pain in there.
I mean, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because we all do the same thing. We all say, you know what, I'll figure it out. I'm going to get this. I'm going to do it right. And yet not one of us ever thinks to reach out and get a mentor and get that going, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for me, that's really that has like propelled me, is I've always taken the action, always. Doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to do exactly what I feel I need to do. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm a doer. I only talk about my experiences. I can't touch on anyone else's. Obviously, I live my own life. We all live our own lives, but you know, you can sit and formulate a plan in real estate for the next 10 years and not do anything.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to get out there, lose some money, feel some pain, and keep getting better. Like it's what it is.
I couldn't agree more. You're exactly right. I mean, there's so much theory to be had in books, especially on real estate. And I fully advise reading and educating yourself before you jump off into this. And yeah, I mean, we both still read avidly. But I think what a lot of people get lost in is over-reading and over-analysis of a situation and the risk tolerance of being in real estate. What's the biggest clue you've got? What's the biggest piece of advice you've got for somebody that's just getting started out, that's maybe a little over analytical?
I would take that plan and break it down very microly on how you're going to break. Like I always tell people who come to me and they're like, hey, like, what should I do if I get, want to get started? I'm like, well, you need to set action steps, but the key word is action. Like you're going to have to be able to, essentially do what you say you're going to do. There's, obviously formulate a plan, but make sure that the little mini steps on how to get to that goal. Okay, if you want to send out your first piece of marketing, great. So today I'm going to call the marketing company, figure out how much it is, and then the next step, and the next step, the next step, and the next step.
Yeah.
5 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, damn, I came really far.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it day to day, does it? It does not feel like it, but you can, I forget who it was said, people, they overestimate what they can do in 5 months and they underestimate what they can do in 5 years.
That was the craziest thing for me was we fully first built them 2 first houses. And I look back at all the hardships I've gone through in real estate and how many times I could have quit and how many times I could have said, forget this. I'm just going to go get a day job or forget this. I'm going to just go, go to the union or I'm going to forget this. It was the most fulfilling moments of my life because, not everything's meant to work out perfectly. It's them bumps and them kicks that make you exactly who you want to be and, who you're going to be.
Dude, I got to caption that. That's the line right there. Not everything's going to work out like you think, but it
still doesn't, even for us.
Well, it's the scars that make the stories, man. It's what makes us what we are.
But I mean, it's the same thing for us. I made the executive decision in our team to, during COVID, when lumber prices spiked and we signed 13 houses pre-COVID. I just met with my accountant 3 days ago and he's like, yeah, you guys lost $325,000. I didn't ask nobody for a penny because I'm playing for the long game. I know I'm going to win, but it's just, what's more important, the instantaneous money or us building a real legitimate brand? And I learned back when I first went to sell them specs, that brand means everything.
Yeah. And your name, your reputation, it all hinges on that. Everything. I tell you what I saw first time in my career is lumber addendums started getting added to real estate deals. If we contract someone and the house isn't going to be finished for 9 months, they want to amend the contract to hit that lumber price at market rate when they buy it. So so the difficult part behind that with us was the loans were already closed. Yeah. So when the loans are closed, you can't get no more money. So it's either you have 2 options. You go to the homeowner and say, hey, I need an extra 35 grand. And they're going to probably say, hey, don't have it. Yeah. You're going to say, okay, so I'm either going to see you in court and this is how it's going to play out. And you're going to bash me to everybody, or I'm going to finish this house for whatever money's still left in it and give you a great product and play for the future. And there's that name, there's that reputation.
And that's what I decided, we decided, the owners to do, and we felt that was the right thing to do because, we're so vulnerable right now because, we're new, we are pushing into the marketplace. People know who we are now. Our brand is very organic. We have a large following here in Pittsburgh. So, I was not about to approach all 13 of our clients that are early on in our careers and say, hey, I need a lot of money from you when they already took a big risk by building a custom home with a company that doesn't have a 20-year track record.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And, that track record's going to improve year after year after year, and your reputation will pick up. And, you're doing the right thing, mate. You've got to treat people how you would want to be treated.
That's one of our core values.
I love core values. You got them in front of you?
I do. They're on the wall outside. It's too loud out there. We do have them on the wall though.
It is. Maybe we can share core values on another podcast. That'd be pretty cool. But I love that you run your company very similar to I do, only probably more profitably. But that's a story for another day. So tell me what is in the future for Bryan Bercik and Hemlock Holmes, man. What's your plan?
So, right now our office space is about 2,000 square feet. We're looking to build our own showroom offices in the next 18 months. Our 3-year goal is to hit 25 million gross. We are going to do probably between 7 and 8 million this year.
Oh, nice, nice.
So, we also run a full remodeling company too, interior. So, we have two facets to our business, and we're just looking to attach some different arms to it to keep, bringing in more revenue.
That's interesting. I didn't know you had a remodel company as well. How well does that integrate with the home building?
It
You'll end
does
up
really well because we're able to control the quality of finishes, and then I'm also able to handle warranty on a faster pace than most people.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, because you can just go grab some guys off of there.
Yeah, we're really trying to provide the highest customer service that we possibly can.
Okay, okay. No, I like that, and definitely building up that name, building up that reputation,
Every
man.
day. Like we're staying consistent posts on Facebook, same thing. Like, between the Apex guys and all that stuff, really preaching, like, I had to really get on that organic following.
Tell me a little bit about how your organic following has worked with the home building stuff, because we have a lot of insurance agents building followings and real estate guys building followings, but we don't really have any home builders that have built the kind of organic following. How does that work for you?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It started by all the people that doubted me, for sure. It really did. I mean, like, but I love that kind of stuff because, like, like I had, even when I was younger, like I had, I had some problems with alcohol and stuff when I was a kid. And like, I quit drinking at 23 and everyone was like, you can't do it. You're not going to do that. I'm still sober 11 and a half years later. So,
Dude, congratulations.
I appreciate it. But, it was whenever I transitioned from flipping into home building, and I like told people, I'm like, yeah, we're going to build houses now. They're like, yeah, okay, sure. And then we built our first house, and they're like, ooh, we did build a house. Now it's, every day. Now we're building 15 houses at a time. So it began as like, just basically kind of like, hey, I told you. But, but it also comes down to when I had that acquisitions job, I really reached out and like, was able to make a lot of connections and a lot of friendships. Mm-hmm. So I was really plugged in the real estate world, and it was easy for me to take over and like branch out to them. Like, hey, this is now my home building company, because they know who I am as a person. So it's like, okay, cool. Now they're like, okay, the quality is really there. And these guys are really starting to change the game. So, and it's like I said, there's just nobody that's around my age in the home building industry.
But you're probably the only home builder that's active on social media.
Correct. Like very active.
So you got some virgin territory there, some blue water, mate, to push on into.
Yeah. It really is like basically a pond with no, there's no other sharks in it.
I like that. I like that analogy. I like it. So are you one of these like morning guys that gets up, goes running and does all that stuff? What does your morning routine look like as a successful entrepreneur?
I just finished 75 hard yesterday.
Oh, congratulations, dude.
Yeah,
that is hard. That is very hard.
No, like, I mean, that force average was real rough last night at 9:30 p.m. because I usually do my second workout in the evening when it's totally quiet. I don't take my phone with me. Like, my time is my time. It's able for me to decompress. But my day starts at 4:30 in the morning. And this is all in my calendar now,
really, you got that too, huh?
Yeah, maybe plan my day out really. So it's 4:30 wake up, 4:45 to 5 a.m. meditation, 5 a.m. to 5:15, brush my teeth, get ready, leave at the gym, 5:30, home at 6:45, shower till 7, read from 7 to 7:45, prep for my day, eat some breakfast between 8 and 8:15, then to the office. And then my day is structured after that.
Would you listen to that, guys? That is how to win the day right there. He's already got everything done that he needs to do before he even steps out. I try and
have half of my 75-day workout done before I leave for work.
Yeah, that's perfect, man.
And then it's just diet and that evening workout, which I look forward to because it's peace and quiet.
Dude, we have such similar morning routines. But I think you find that success leaves clues. And if you want to be successful and in shape, you just find people that are successful and in shape and copy what they're doing, right?
Yeah. I've never been this is full transparency to anybody starting out. I am not a creative guy. I am not by any means. I look at other people, how they're winning and what they're doing, and I implement the same stuff. That's all it is. And I put action to it. Like,
I'm still not used to getting up early.
No, I hate it.
I hate it. I tell you what, I was talking about the other day. I focus on how I feel when I'm done. When I'm like, because the morning I go for a walk or a run, and when I'm coming back down the street, I've turned the last corner, my house is at the end of the street, I'm coming back down it, and I'm just walking, I'm starting to cool down, I'm starting to feel good, and I got a big old smile on my face because that's done, it's out the way, and I've got a feeling of accomplishment. And you know, some mornings I get up about 4:30. Other times I hit snooze and I get up at 4:50. I have a lie in some mornings.
I do the same exact thing.
But you know, by the time I leave the house at 6:25 every day. But by the time I've got my exercise in and done all that, it feels like I've already won for the day. I think that's probably one of the most important things. Is I don't like the feeling of getting up. I'll never get used to getting up at 4:30 in the morning, but you know,
every day my alarm goes off at 4:30, and there's that initial first 30 seconds where you're like, just shut it off, dude. Just shut it off. You don't like, what's the point?
I think we're living the same damn life.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. But man, once I'm vertical, like actually standing up and get my shorts on and get my tennis shoes on and stuff, you know, I'm always glad that I've done it. I always feel great. And then if I sleep in, I feel awful. I feel guilty.
That bitch voice in the back of my head's like, why?
Yeah. Why? Nobody's
like, you know, it's in the back of my head like, you won. The bitch voice won.
Nobody's watching. Nobody
will know. Nobody will know if I cut this corner.
Oh man. Yeah, but you'll know.
Yep. But I mean, it's for me, like I get the hardest work out of the day in first. So I do CrossFit 6 days a week. And I go super hard at 5:30 in the morning. Like I need to release that, you know, that energy out of me because I mean, as an entrepreneur, I mean, you're handling serious stress. I mean, especially if you're starting a new business, like I don't care what anyone says, like your first 5 years, 10 years, however, I mean, you're going to have, but whenever you're like really scaling a company, you're going to hit roadblocks like you never ever imagined in your life.
Oh, no doubt. And then you start scaling financially and you're just dumping more and more money in. And all of a sudden,
$100,000 at this point.
You know, you look and I remember back when I was starting, you'd have a $1,500 problem. And now you turn around, all of a sudden they're $50,000 problems. And you're just like, well, shit, there we go. I mean,
we're at the point now, like if I don't bring in $600,000 a month, we don't stay afloat.
Yeah, well, shit, you better get to it, man. That's a big one to crack. So I won't keep you too much longer, man. I really won't. Man, I need to close out with just a few more questions though. No, one of them that I've been asking recently that I wanted to cover with you, and we touched really briefly on it. Can you share any good books that you've read recently?
Also, I mean, obviously I support all the guys in Apex. So, I mean, I read Unfuck Your Business. Amazing. It was, you know, Thomas Keenan's book. Amazing. I mean, it really, you know, again, even after we had that hiring and firing session, like those core value stuff, that's something I've done 25% of the way for 5 years. And I came back from that and really implemented that.
It makes a huge difference, man.
Huge difference. The G Code, fantastic book. I listened to The Hardcore Loser of Ryan Stewman as well. Right now I'm on Social Media Marketing by him too, which is, dude, there is gold mines in that thing.
I've got this one in my, I got this one. I got the M3 in my pile right now that I'm reading. You can read that, the thing. But my Apex book stack keeps growing, and I'm not getting.
That's why I haven't gotten anyone else's stuff.
Fast enough, man.
Every week, there's a new guy putting out another book. And I'm like, I got to order it. You
know? Yeah, I'm the same way, man.
But I mean, I'll read in the morning and then I'll do Audible in the evening. But I mean, for me, I always gravitate back to a couple. So it's Jocko's Extreme Ownership, which is huge for me in the Audible. I need to re-listen to that over and over. And then David Goggins, that book is just mind blowing. It's just, dude, when I feel like I'm having a bad day or I can't push myself far enough, I listen to that. And I'm like, you are the weakest human being I've ever met. Like, listen to this guy's story. That's
how he makes me feel, man. That's how he makes me feel. Dude just runs and runs and runs. He's like the real life Forrest Gump.
I mean, he's just those guys are super elite, and you're just like, okay, I can push further than what I'm doing. Maybe not, 100-mile endurance races, but I can make another mile.
Yeah. We can go another mile, dude.
But I mean, yeah, I'm really big on I did not like reading at all until 75 hard. And I'll tell you what, it's a part of my day now.
That's strange because my reading came and went. I was always an avid reader in school, but it was the first time I stepped into 75 hard this time last year, that I really started to pick up on the books again and make reading a part of my day, and it still is. I set aside time every morning to get at least 5 or 6 pages in, 10 if I'm not busy, if there's no one around. But I can't advocate reading enough. So yeah, good call.
It is going to be, I mean, if you pick the right books and you stay in the right circle, I mean, and you will take some serious nuggets out of all these books. But yeah, it's one of them things where, I can't say enough about how much reading's changed my perspective on business and life and discipline and doing things that I didn't want to do,
I totally understand. I was just making a note of that. That timing right there. Anyway, damn it, Bryan, it's about time to wrap this up, buddy. It's been a complete pleasure talking to you and hearing about your history and hearing about how Hemlock Holmes came to be, man, and the future for that company looks exceedingly bright, my friend.
Yeah,
so well done.
Appreciate you so much for having me on,
dude. Before we get off of here, please, because I for one, I'm definitely going to go and look up your business page and give it a follow. But tell the listeners where they can find you and where they can find your company online.
Yeah, so we're really, really heavy on Facebook. So you can find us at Hemlock Homes on Facebook. We do have Hemlock Home Building on Instagram, but our Facebook is, primarily where all of our business lays. Personally, myself, Bryan Bercik on Facebook as well. You'll see all of our stuff on there. But yeah, Hemlock Homes on Facebook is where you can find us.
And we'll throw links to those in the show notes. So guys, that was Bryan Bercik, Apex member and co-founder of Hemlock Holmes. Bryan, thank you so much for coming on the show, buddy.
Thanks, Sam.
Guys, as always, if you've gotten anything out of this show, do me a favor, do Bryan a favor, run on over, follow his social media links, and follow the show, subscribe, like it, share it, do all that good stuff. It just helps get the word out and helps other people find the show, so we can maybe teach them a thing or two as well. All right, that's it from us. Huge thanks again to Bryan, and we will see you guys on Friday with this week's episode of Friday Fire. You'll be good and stay safe.